Hi everyone, this is Dan Haleva from Atlanta, Georgia. And this is week 5. During this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate EQ mirroring. Now, typically, EQ mirroring can be applied across an entire mix by using a combination of high pass and low pass filters, as well as band pass filters. And also you can use shelving EQs. But in this case, I'm going to work with two very specific components of the mix, the kick drum and the bass guitar. And in order to get the kick drum and the bass guitar to stand out and not step all over each other, we're going to cut some frequencies in the kick drum while we raise some frequencies in the bass and cut some frequencies in the bass as well. Hopefully this will give the kick drum some more punch and the ability to cut through the low end a little better. So here you can see the kick drum EQ, and you can also see the EQ for the bass guitar. Notice in this section right here, we do a pretty severe roll-off at 50 Hertz, minus 48 dB. And in the next section of the EQ, we have the 50 Hertz mark set for a 2 dB gain. We want to bump it up at 50 Hertz. That should give us some punch in that 50 to 80 Hertz region with the Q setting of 1.1, reasonably wide Q, to give us some more punch in the kick drum. Conversely, in the bass guitar, we're going to drop 12 dB on 50 Hertz to do a slight roll-off, not as drastic as the kick drum, but this slight roll-off will allow us to keep some of the bottom end in the mix intact. And right around 250 Hertz, we're going to boost it by about 2.5 dB, which should allow the low end of the mix to maintain a decent presence. So let's listen to the track without EQ. Now it doesn't sound so bad, but I would like to get the kick drum to have a little bit more presence in this area. So with these EQ settings in place, we're going to raise the kick drum around 50 Hertz and we're going to drop the bass guitar 50 Hertz. So that should open up a slot in the mix to allow that kick drum to cut through nicely. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on EQ mirroring. Let's review a little bit. You can use your EQ settings in the mix on the channel and configure these EQ plugins appropriately for each frequency that you want to try to boost or cut. You have to know your frequencies for the instruments that you're mixing. And also make sure that you know which ones overlap so that you can cut appropriately or boost in the appropriate place. And always review your work by using the bypass button on the EQ to give yourself a good A to B comparison in your final mix. Thanks for watching, and as always, I appreciate your feedback. See you next week.